Dan here, welcome back to my channel. And in this, I'm going to be taking you through something that's fairly new. It was only just released off of beta testing, and it is inside Manus, how we can now use one of their connectors to sync up to your Instagram page, analyze any of your content you've ever created. Then what it can do with that is it can take all that information, it can create you new content based off that information or based off what you tell it. It can then build that content out. It can create you the captions for it. It can create you the creative for it. Carousels, static images. It could access a bank of images that you give it based on access to your Google Drive, and it can pull the exact right images that it thinks would be best, put it into this piece of content. And then it will bring it all together and it will say to you, do you want me to publish this to your page? We don't even have to download this stuff now. It can be all done through this platform. So let me show you. You'll know I'm fully bought into Manus by now. And the only reason I talk about this so much is because I actually do use it for things and it's really useful. Whereas most of the stuff I see out there, it sounds good and it feels nice. It doesn't really give you much for it. So this is something, again, that you might find really useful. So make myself smaller. This is obviously Manus where you are. In here, it looks like very much like any other AI tool that you've used. However, in here, we've got this little section where we can connect things now. So we go in here and we can then connect to apps. So for example, in here, we've got Instagram beta. Look at that. So what I'm going to do is show you an example of how you could use this. Now, there are probably many other ways of using this, I'm fully aware, but let me show you this way. First of all, I'm going to create a new project, and this is going to be specifically for what you want to use this. So for content reviews and for publishing and for republishing new pieces of content, just so you keep it tidy and you don't lose stuff. Now this is where you're going to connect. So you'll come in here, you'll find the little Instagram bit, and you'll just go connect. And that's it. That is as simple as it needs to be. I've also connected my Google Drive here, and this is Ads Manager for a different product, right? Different project. So for now, we're just going to use Instagram, right? And then what I'm going to do is come up to here and I'm going to say to it to analyze my last 5 posts and create a new post based on the data. See what happens. Now that once it's done its little job of analyzing, just want to point out here, the data is clear. Carousel posts and posts with a strong personal, emotional point of view drive the highest engagement, in case you had any doubts. What happens next is it will use Nano Banana Pro to create the image, which is by far one of the best softwares out there for creating these images. So here's what it looks like initially, right? So you can see on here, it's taken from this as a version, taken our brand colors and fonts and made these. Now, I would not post these, by the way, but it's just to show you how you can do this all within this console, and we don't have to do it, because then what you can do next is go into here and publish, and it will publish this. So you've got the whole caption and the post. Now, bearing in mind that post was created off the back of the data that is pulled off the recent posts. Okay, so you might want to be a bit more specific with it. Now, I could go back with this and I want to tell it that there's too much space on these carousel slides. The formatting's off slightly, so we need to make that change. I also would like to add some imagery in here, so I would say to it to access my folder on my Dropbox file and pull some images from there to add to this as well. And then I would definitely want to edit this. So I would just go through, probably copy that, take it to a note, my Notes app, edit it, and then re-upload and say, can you add this as the caption? After all that's done, then I'll be in a much better place to say, yeah, publish this. Once it's done that, it will learn the process and it will learn how you like things created. And I want to show you an example of this. So I am creating at the moment a new software for coaches who want to be able to showcase and demo their programs behind the scenes, or maybe some of their coaching processes, roadmaps, whatever it is, like, or even slideshows, right? So I've created this software. It's still very much in the early stages. However, we have a whole branding kit for it. We've got fonts, we've got colors, we've got style, the way it works. And then what I've done is I've been able to use this as a way for it to create content for it very quickly, because we've got all the branding content, like I say, and I've already plugged into it how I want it to work. So now we can get from the scope of the actual software itself, it can then create the content and how it should look from a style point of view, and it keeps everything very, very uniform, which is what you'd want, right, across platforms and across your whole business, your whole branding. So this is how these look, because these have been, again, there's an element of back and forth with these, and what we've done is really been specific about where we want certain things and how it should do from a hierarchy point of view, where we have bold and then smaller text in between. But these are how they look now, and these are ones that I'm much more happier just going in and then going, hey, you can just post these now. So to give you an example of how that worked, this is the site. So this is what it looks like when you go and log in, right? So you've got, well, not when you log in, which is what it looks like. So we've got all of the whole style, everything across it. You can see we've been able to then use that to then influence, okay, what's the social media going to look like? So now we've got this. And from here, we've been able to create 10 pieces of content, 10 carousel posts based on this. So up here, you can see I've got what it is, how it works, who it's for, features, what it does for the business, all of this stuff. And then it's gone away and it's created every single piece of that. And the next thing is it will go across and post. So it's going to post to our platform, which I can show you. So over here, you can see we've got 4 pieces of content that have come out of this live. And each one in here, before it goes live, I always write these captions completely. So I'll put that into here and say, right, so we're going to post number 4 today. Here's the caption. And then it will just put that with it. So I don't want them to use their captions, not to say they're terrible, they just don't sound like me. So I'll write these and then they go in, and then that is posted from there. And you don't have to do anything. And I know that might not sound like a lot, but the fact that you could have in your Manus platform here, you've got a project you use specifically for content for Instagram, and you're able to then infer what you should be posting on Instagram based on the data that is put in from content you're already creating. Like if you're creating stuff like this, or you want to do it for a new project or whatever it is, then how about that for saving you time? And also knowing that you've got it all in one place, and it will, you don't have to go download it, upload it to a scheduler, then make sure it's all in there, then make sure it's all formatted. It just does it all from here. Because of the integration that Manus now has with Meta, because they've been acquired, works brilliantly. It's another thing that I'm a big fan of. It's like if you're already using something within your business, and you've got a process for it, that this actually adds to make it a bit more smoother, a bit more streamlined. The same way I've done in a previous video where we've talked about how this has an integration with Ads Manager. If you haven't seen that video, definitely go check it out. That's a job that I was doing anyway, but we're doing it manually, and now we can do it in a way that is just much more streamlined, quicker, more efficient, more effective. That for me is how we should be using these tools. Not to create the captions, not to go in and be like, create me these posts, but you add the ideas. And this content is based off the idea of the software and the tool anyway. So it's only just sharing what the features are. But that being said, I still go in and I will write these captions. These captions will sound like me because they are me, right? So what I'm saying is you still have this control over it, but you can do it from a space that actually will then feed back data to you, because it will be learning every time you use it. And I just feel like that's what we should be doing with this. If you have a process that you know that you're using already, that this can be applied to, the best thing ever. So I hope this has been useful. Please let me know below if you have any questions on it, and if you go and set it up and try it out, I'd love to know what you think, and I will see you in the next one.